All right, happy 4th of July, everybody, and welcome to Super Dave Rains and the Big Show, live on location at Escape Velocity Comics in Colorado Springs. I'm Robert, a.k.a. Big Sexy, and we are here to talk about this week's new releases and our reviews on those movies, as well as what's going on in Hollywood. Now, there's some news I'd like to get off my chest, but before we get to that point, let's go ahead and introduce everybody on the show. We've got the man himself, Bryson, a.k.a. Batman.
Yeah.
You know Super Dave Rains.
Hey.
And our very own, a.k.a. Jessica Jones.
So,
now,
get
this
into
news.
it.
So, there's a lot of
definitely.
rumblings going on in Hollywood right now. And that's that because of how poorly received X-Men Apocalypse was. Its box office, its critical reception, that they have been talking with Marvel about bringing rights over to the MCU.
Yeah,
They've seen how well Spider-Man has been doing. So, kind of where I'm going, like, I'll start with you, Bryson, because you're my fellow X-Men fan. Who would you like to see, if they could only bring one character right now, who would you love to see come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Wolverine. Wolverine, hands down. 2 reasons. 1, you get the Hulk and Wolverine going at it.
Oh, wow.
And number 2, once they're done going at it, you get an awesome scene of Hulk picking up Wolverine and just tossing him into an enemy. How great would that be? Come on, you guys. It's a simple answer.
Shut up and take my money?
Shut up and take my money.
Wolverine's a projectile?
He's an adamantium bullet. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's great news. You know, I think it's been long overdue that the Fox and anybody else that has the rights to any of the Marvel superheroes should give them back to Marvel, because we can see what Marvel and Disney has done. You know, they've been very successful, and you're absolutely right. Apocalypse, it was just a very average film, and that's what I thought when we got to the end of it. Is this is very average? So I agree with you 100%.
I can definitely say that would be good for, even in Deadpool, the movie, they were making a lot of jabs to, I guess we didn't have the budget for these characters, and stuff like that, pointing out that the rights are spread out between Fox and Disney and Marvel and all that, and so it'll be good to get them all back together, I think as it should be.
Yeah, I agree. And I would add furthermore is the fact that Sony did such a poor job with Fantastic Four.
To say the least.
It was just really bad.
I wasn't expecting it to do well.
Well, I know, but it would be better if they would give it back.
Fantastic Four is Fox, though, correct?
Is it Fox or Sony?
It's one of the two.
It's one of the two.
It's one of the two, but whoever has it, give
Correct
it
us
back.
in the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
It's forgettable, that's why
I
we
can't be
remember.
perfect all the time.
But I'm going to throw a
I think it
curveball.
might be Fox.
Personally, who I would like to see the most is Professor Xavier.
Really?
I'm looking at post-Infinity War and looking at Marvel Phase 4, and by bringing Professor X in, we get the Illuminati.
You literally took the word right out of
an
my mouth.
Illuminati movie just excites the heck out of me. And
that makes
it's
the reality of Planet Hulk a lot more feasible, too.
Yeah, and bringing in Professor X, that just makes it easy to usher in all the other X-Men.
Right.
Now, some other rumblings coming in is there was the announcement of a Tetris movie.
What?
And it's going to be budgeted. It's coming out in 2018.
Yes.
It's being filmed in China. It's started to start filming later this year. And $80 million budget. And allegedly the plot is so dynamic, it's a trilogy. They've already confirmed it's going to be a trilogy.
Wow.
I'm so
Now, I'm going to toss it over to you guys, but I'm just being honest here. It could be good. Like, this could be a real blockbuster. But I don't know.
Well, is there enough subject to do Tetris in
It's
3 movies?
Tetris.
So, I mean, if you say it is, then it is.
That's what the directors and everybody's a part of it saying.
We can get that, but not Judge Dredd 2?
Who's making these decisions?
I don't know. I'm
Come on,
psyched to see Tetris.
Give me Carl
All
Urban.
3 of them.
It's true, though. It's just some really bad stuff out there. I don't know. I'm curious to see more. Maybe once we get a teaser. It can't be as bad as Pixels, can it?
That was
I don't think anything can be that bad.
Well, I think that's
it's
more
true.
because of Adam Sandler's kind of fallen off.
True. As long as Adam Sandler's not in it.
Right, exactly.
Now,
they might do a lot better.
My last tidbit is something I think is going to excite both of you gentlemen. And there is a remake going on right now on 1974's Death Wish.
I heard that.
Eli
Yeah,
Roth.
I heard that.
Eli
Yeah.
Roth, Cabin in the Woods. He was the Jew Bear in Inglourious Bastards. What else has Eli Roth done? He's done some great work.
Right.
Upcoming director, but he's going to be directing it, and Bruce Willis is going to be taking over for Charles Bronson.
No joke.
That's the
Wow.
interesting cast to me.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
What do you guys think?
Well, first and foremost, I don't know if I've said this on this show, but Bruce Willis is my favorite bedtime hero. So anything that man
So
is
you're
in, I'm in.
Please elaborate.
Need I say more?
Remember, this is a PG-13 rated show, folks.
Need I say more? That bald, smooth, sexy head.
Oh my god.
Right. All right, so I take it you like it.
No,
You like
I
the
love
idea.
that cast, but in all
Right.
seriousness, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, with that coming out, with them doing the Death Wish thing, what do you think about the Magnificent Seven? Is that coming out as well with Denzel?
That is coming
And
out
Chris
soon.
Pratt?
Yeah, and that's to say the
Chris
least.
Pratt.
There's so much in that film. I love the original, and the trailers for this one look really promising, so I'm completely on board.
Right. So
Chris
we're,
Pratt is my bedtime hero. Bedroom hero? What did you say?
Favorite bedtime hero.
Favorite bedtime hero. Yeah,
So,
he's my favorite bedtime hero.
He's
We're having
This
a-
escalated quickly.
He's so awkward and cute.
Okay.
we're having a
Um,
love fest on the show today, folks.
That being
So,
said,
mine is Margot Robbie, who just had a birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Margot.
movie reviews, and speaking of Margot Robbie, good transition point there.
Yeah.
Tarzan.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Tarzan. Let's talk some movie reviews.
We had the pleasure of seeing Tarzan last night. Fill him in, Bryson.
All right, well, here's the core of that. I'll just start off with Margot Robbie. You brought her up.
Right.
Terrible. Absolutely abysmal. Going into the actor I could never think I would call bad in any role.
Right.
Christoph Waltz.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Me too.
Not good in this film whatsoever.
Wow.
And we were in agreement on that.
Yeah. That being said, they did the best they could with
Right.
what they were giving. I think the core of the issue is it's poor writing. And that seems to be
that
plaguing
seems to be
Hollywood.
plaguing Hollywood
So
everywhere,
over
just
everything.
poor
And
writing.
I had
Yeah.
asked John about
Yeah.
that. Why is the writing so bad?
Mhm.
And another question I'd ask you is, speaking of Tarzan, I think it's Margot Robbie.
Mhm.
Why did they make this film? Were the fans really clamoring for a Tarzan film?
I don't think they were clamoring for it, but there were some good elements there.
Right.
If they would have focused on Tarzan growing up being raised by the apes, would have been good. That was about the good 15-20 minutes of that movie.
Right.
The rest of it was just very poorly done. CGI
mediocre.
was iffy. It was mediocre.
Right.
Just something that you would take your kids to on a very boring, rainy afternoon.
Right.
And that's about where I would put it.
Yeah,
I feel
and-
like there's a trend going with doing the real life versions, live action
Mhm.
of a lot of the Disney classics.
Well, Disney
The-
kicked that off themselves.
Well, I saw the previews for the Jungle Book, and that looked really good. I was
It's
really
phenomenal.
excited, because the
Phenomenal movie.
CGI in that is incredibly well done and everything. But when I saw that there was going to be a live action Tarzan, I thought, is it worth giving up Phil Collins?
No,
that being said, it's not even handled by Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
really-
lots
Yeah,
of
exactly.
homages to the Disney film there.
Well, I'll jump in.
Yeah.
I wonder how
The
Disney
thing
felt
is
about that.
it is based more off the book.
It is.
Not even the comic books or the Disney. It's very faithful in some ways to
the
the
novel.
original
Mhm.
novel.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, so I do see that there, but that said, it's not a charming movie. It's not
fun.
There's nothing there. It's just a very
Yeah.
bland, generic
Mhm.
film.
Mhm.
Right.
That's such a shame.
Well, before we go back through movies, I want to go back to, we just got off Denver Comic Con 2016. We just finished that. And I wanted to get your initial thoughts on Denver Comic Con and what was memorable to each one of you as we covered that. I kind of figure out what they're gonna say.
Yeah,
My
my man.
man.
We both got to meet Stan Lee. It doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
Like,
And that's where we'll leave that at for us.
Okay.
Jessica?
It was just packed with people. This was my first con, long-time nerd, but first con, and I have to say, it was overwhelming how many people were there, which is kind of cool, because, you nerds are representing, and it's great. But it was a good time.
And speaking of number of attendees, record-breaking year.
114,000 were in
Plus,
attendance.
yeah. They more than doubled last year.
Insane.
So, yeah, actually. Well, let me ask you really quick on a couple of movies so that we can get these in. The Shallows. Your initial thoughts on that?
Fantastic.
It's grade A, B-rated material.
Yeah.
Right.
If that makes any sense to you moviegoers out there.
Right.
Yeah, it is a 4-star B-rated film.
Right.
But it's wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right. Big Friendly Giant. I know all
Okay,
three of
so-
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
take that. Take it.
I loved Big Friendly Giant. The musical score just takes you away in the very beginning of it. The CGI is phenomenal, and the giant, they did such an incredible job with the facial features that when he's smiling, you really feel like there's somebody actually smiling at you, and you gotta force back the tears at some point because this story is very endearing, it's charming, and they were very respectful to the Queen. God save the Queen, because, you have to be always respectful to the Queen.
Right.
But it was absolutely the kind of thing that you would want to take your children to, very dreamlike.
I second that.
And you guys would agree with that?
I loved it. John Williams scored the film.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I wouldn't be
he's
shocked
a
if there's a
legend.
nomination.
He's a master.
Yeah, the CGI. I expect to see a nomination there too.
Right.
Fun fact, because I remember during the movie you said he reminded me a lot of Robin Williams.
He really did.
Robin Williams was originally supposed to play the Big Friendly Giant in that movie.
Oh,
when
wow.
when he smiles,
It's kind of
that
dampened the mood a little bit,
expression-
but you can see it.
Yeah.
You can really see it there. Because this
Right.
movie's been in production for quite a few years.
Right.
I felt like it's not really a sad thing, though, to
It's
pay
not.
homage to Robin Williams. That really,
Yeah.
as someone who grew up with him, that does kind of tug at your heartstrings and remind you sweetly that he's still there in some capacity. So, but it
Right.
was very obviously John Williams. Very
Yeah.
obviously, it was beautiful, excellent work as always.
Yeah,
Right.
I was just happy to see Steven Spielberg get back to his family and
Family
whimsical,
roots.
magical
Right.
films.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Lincoln was fantastic. And what was his
Bridge of
last?
Spies.
Bridge of Spies. I loved Bridge of
Right.
Spies.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see him come back.
Did he do Polar Express as well? Was that Spielberg or was that someone else?
I
don't believe
don't,
he did.
I don't
Oh,
think he did.
okay.
I think so.
No.
I think the
exactly.
CGI is just where my brain went.
Yeah.
That's. I
Yeah.
think that this CGI is probably the best that I've seen since Polar Express for an all throughout the movie type thing.
Right.
Yeah, give or take,
Right.
yeah.
Excellent. Well, let me ask you guys about Ghostbusters. Do you think it's going to work? And do you like the fact that this is a reboot and not a continuation of the original?
Wait, excuse me, repeat that last part. Did you say reboot?
It is a reboot.
It's
It is not a
it
continuation
kind
of
of
the
sits
original
in one of those weird
Ghostbusters.
realms where it's like a
Busters,
reboot
excuse me.
/ quasi sequel. It doesn't really sit in any kind of. It's in between.
I'm holding on to a shred of hope.
And we
holding
share
on
this
to it.
thought.
Yeah.
Right.
Only because Paul Feig, right? Paul
Yeah.
Feig? Yeah. He did Spy, he did Bridesmaids, both of those movies, their trailers were abysmal. Same with this movie here. The trailers, we can all unanimously agree, abysmal.
Right.
However, here's the saving grace. Those two movies, Bridesmaids and Spy, some of the most surprising treats I've watched in
Yeah.
a very long time.
Easily.
Right.
So that's my tiny shred of hope I'm clinging on to for dear life. Until I see that movie, I will not write it off. That
Agreed.
being said, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good.
I think
Okay.
there's
And-
actually a lot of pretty surprising talent in the female comedians that they have.
There is.
Oh,
acting in that,
there
so
is. There is.
I really hope that it's just one of those, take it for what it is, enjoy it, laugh. But as far as a reboot, that doesn't sit well with me.
No, because it
Yeah.
was always my impression the movie was a continuation.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. And that's my
Yeah,
problem with it, too.
yeah.
So, but we'll see. I'm holding out
Yeah,
hope.
I don't know.
So,
Kind of mirroring what you said, just really quick. Like the thing with Paul Feig is, Melissa McCarthy I don't like her. I don't think she's a very good actress.
Right.
He can make her into
but
a good actress.
She was great in Spy and great in
Right.
Bridesmaids.
Right.
And I do think she brings out the best in Paul Feig, and he brings out the best in her. Because every movie she's done outside of those two has been a train wreck of a film. She's not funny. Yet I love her in his movies.
Right.
So,
Well,
like I said, there is some hope there.
right.
But we'll see. We'll find out in, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you.
We'll give
Bo.
you the
I'm
reviews.
hoping that it will be good.
Yeah.
So, real quickly, let me ask you: Finding Dory is dominating the box
Yes,
office.
it is.
Yep.
Is it because it's that good, or is it because everything else is just that bad?
It's a combination. More because it's that good. Finding Dory is a phenomenal film. I give it a 9.5 in my review. It's incredible.
Right.
It's as good as the original, with some areas, even in my opinion, being better in some aspects.
Right.
Now, that said, this has been one of the worst summers for movies we've ever had.
Right.
Just terrible films all around, and box office is hurting because of it. Everything is underperforming.
Yeah.
From Teenage Ninja Turtles to Independence Day
Yeah.
to now Tarzan. Tarzan is grossing $40 million this weekend, but its
Yeah.
budget was $180.
Yeah, that's nothing.
They're relying on overseas now for that movie to make it back. And even BFG, despite how good it is, it only made $20 million this weekend,
Yeah.
and that film's price tag was $140.
Yeah.
That being said, though, Disney's fine. They can do whatever they
Oh,
want.
yeah,
they
they
can.
can.
They can do a couple
Yeah, they can
flops and they're
survive
fine.
it.
So
It's true.
I wouldn't.
And it doesn't make
yeah.
it as a bad. It doesn't
No.
mean that BFG's a bad movie.
No.
No.
Because I don't believe that it is. I believe
It's
what's
not.
happened is there's so much that hasn't been good that people are
Yeah.
not flocking.
They're reluctant.
They're reluctant
Exactly.
to go.
They're reluctant.
Exactly.
I know everybody would be loyal to Finding Dory because, you know, you've got people who grew up with Finding
Yep.
Nemo and
Right.
they've been waiting for this moment, you know. And then, of course, kids who grew up with Finding Nemo and now they've got kids of their own and they know the
Case in
kind of
point.
movie to bring their kid to. They know what it's going to be. And Ellen DeGeneres, I mean, they could not have
It's
picked a
true.
funnier person to
Yeah.
voice Dory. And
Right.
the story is sweet and compelling, so I think that they're going to do just fine.
Now,
Right.
that said, its box office isn't a surprise.
It's not.
People forget that Finding Nemo was the highest grossing animated film of all time when it came out.
Right.
It had even outdone, without
Lion
inflation, The Lion King. It had
Right.
outdone
Right.
Beauty and the Beast.
Very
It
true.
wasn't until Toy Story 3 and Frozen that it was finally dethroned.
Toy Story
That
3,
is
man,
true.
just said, well,
That
but
is true. I have to
say
completely
that-
different topic.
And then
Finding-
Minions came out and that grossed more. But we don't talk about Minions.
Finding Nemo
that's
is
ooh.
one of the most visually stunning animated films,
It's
and it's
incredible.
for the same reason I think that The Lion King was. It's the attention to detail in the wilderness of things. You know, when you're dealing with the deep open ocean, it's very hard to give that depth. It's very hard
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really encompass what that's like and not scare kids because it is kind of scary. But
Right.
they did such a great job. The colors were phenomenal. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a work of art regardless of anything else.
Right.
Now,
Oh,
I
go
was
ahead,
going to
Bo.
say, I didn't know if you had a point, but I want to move on from there for another news thing. Is Pixar came out and announced that after Cars 4, right? Is it Cars
3.
Cars 3, Toy Story 4, and Incredibles 2,
Yeah, I
after
did see
2019,
that.
Pixar has no more sequels in the lineup.
Well, maybe we'll get some new stuff.
Well, that's what they said. They want to go after originality.
Right.
But
Hallelujah.
the interesting thing there, though, is the big conversation was, are we going to get another Finding Nemo Dory film? I don't want one,
another one.
but we
Yeah.
didn't want Finding Dory, and that film was brilliant.
Right.
We didn't want Toy Story 2 or 3. You know,
Well,
I
yeah.
trust Pixar, but
You know,
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's okay. It's like your favorite beer. You're drinking it. Oh my god, this is amazing. But you know what? Instead of another of the same, I want to try something else from the company. Oh, that's amazing. We can keep on doing the same old, and it's good, but I want variety.
Yeah,
And that's where I'm
yeah,
at with
and
Pixar.
Yeah,
That's
I would agree.
where I'm at with Pixar.
I would agree with that.
With your favorite beer or drink or whatever, you want variety.
Yeah, you want to try something
Agreed.
different every once in a while.
Or with your favorite juice kids. Don't listen to this part.
A kid-friendly show.
Well, I mean,
so
No, as you're saying, Dave.
I'm an alcoholic.
no, we're not. Really, we're not, folks. So let me move on to big show news real quick. I want to let everyone know that we will be doing Colorado Springs Comic Con and Toy Con.
Yes, we will.
On the 30th and 31st of this month. And there's no admission for the event. It's free. All they ask is you make a donation because they're raising donations for Toys for Tots. So we're also planning on doing Colorado Comic Con, not to be confused with Colorado Springs Comic Con and Toy Con, and that is August 26th through the 29th. So I've already put in for our media credentials, so as soon as we get those back, we'll announce that.
They had me a Ric Flair.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to meet Ric Flair. So, Super Dave Rains and The Big Show is on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave comments down below for any one of us. We are also up on Facebook, Super Dave Rains and The Big Show Facebook page, where you can get Bo and Bryson's awesome reviews. I'm telling you,
check out your favorite movie reviewer.
And check out.
Wait. Excuse me.
Your two
their
favorite movie reviewers. So let me just real quick. Where can these guys are very competitive? Where can folks find you on social media?
I am on Instagram under Superman Bobo, and I do have Facebook obviously as well under Boban. And you can also find my Twitter account, which is BigSexy90.
Yeah, I like that.
And I'm Marvelous J Jones on Twitter, and you can find me on Facebook under Marvelous Jessica Jones. Legally distinct Marvel, by the way, legally distinct.
Don't try to sue us.
Please.
So, Bryson?
I'm just on Facebook right now.
We got to get you on Twitter.
Bryson Lynn. I don't know if I'm going to get on that Twitter bandwagon.
Okay.
I don't know if I will.
It's fun. I'm really enjoying it. So, okay.
Well, we gotta wrap it up now. So, thank you so much for watching. This has been Super Dave Rains and The Big Show.
Take care.